Today, first day of testing. We go 3 days. It's kind of a 3-day deal. So today, you always want to do the 40s first. We only do it once a year. We want to get a real good time on the guys, so we always do that first. After that, we did bench press. Then tomorrow, we got all of our movement stuff, our pro shuttle, our broad jump, our vertical jump, and then we'll do power clean. And then on Wednesday, we do our squat. Because once you do the squat, it's a max rep test and squat, you're kind of done. So that'll be, it takes us 3 days to test. But the thing that I believe real strongly in is you guys kind of see how they work. When they test, it's actually a training day for us. I mean, I think what they did the last hour actually got them stronger. So it's not only exhibiting, but it's also training and preparation.
How much of what you're doing is kind of an extension of what Fitz was doing, kind of picking it up and going from there, as opposed to an overhaul of the thing?
A lot of it, because you got to understand that Fitz and I were together for 6 years. So, a lot of the things that we were developing at Maryland back in the early 2000s were things that him and I were cooperating on and kind of doing together. So there's a really similar theme to everything both of us do, whether it's at Houston Texans or Penn State or South Carolina or Vanderbilt. Our programs have always been very similar. We have the same philosophy. So I think it's been a real good transition for the kids. There's been a few little different touches that we do, but that's good. I mean, change in that way is good, but for the most part, it's the same basic philosophy.
Hey, what are some of the things you mentioned back in Maryland when you guys were working together, some tried and true sort of things that maybe you guys still are doing here today that you'd say?
Well, one of the things we really try to switch over at Maryland is I love the weight room. I mean, I'm a ex-power lifter. I wasn't very good, but I tried. So love to lift, and I think that the strength and power you get in the weight room is the foundation for everything. However, if you can't move, what good is the strength and power? So I've really become a movement-based strength coach. And I think that was the one thing that we did the best job of back in the early 2000s, is we learned how to really crank it in the weight room and really maximize our strength and power. But we learned how to really do a great job on speed, agility, balance, quickness, all those things that transitioned the weight room to the football field. And I think that we did a real good job with that. And obviously you saw the 40-yard dash in there. Well, you all weren't in there. We just did them. I think the guys did a great job in there. And a lot of that is because we have very similar philosophies on speed improvement. I mean, it's very important to both of us. And we know that strength without speed is not going to really cut it in today's football.
What's been the toughest part about the transition for you personally over the past month or so?
The only tough part, there's only one tough part, and that's the fact that my wife's still in Nashville and I'm up here. I love my wife. So I miss her, but I have my son here. So that's a good situation, but the transition's been incredible. Penn State's been great. The kids are unbelievable. You see what kind of we put up on the board. That's a big thing for us. I mean, we want to be the hardest working team in the country. No doubt. We don't want anybody to be our peer in that area. That's what we always strive for. And really being able to inherit a group of guys that work as hard as our guys has been great. Very respectful, very polite, very hard working. It's been a real good transition.
What areas have you seen the most improvement in 7 weeks? Is there one area that jumps out specifically?
I mean, I think they've done a great job with strength and power. I had 6 really good, speed workouts before we started our winter workouts. We have 6 of them, so we only had 12 running workouts, and I think I have 52 on the schedule up till camp. So we got 40 to go. So I think we made some great progress, but I need those other 40. But from a strength and power standpoint, we're basically in our 8th week, and I think they've really done a good job with increasing that area, gaining good lean mass. I think we put some good size on the team. Such some really good body weight gains, which I think we're going to need because we have a younger team. So I think that the strength and power they've got in the weight room has been our biggest improvement thus far.
Are you where a team ought to be at this point of the off season, given the coaching change? Do you think
you're never really totally satisfied, but I feel good about where we are right now. Now the one thing you're going to kind of find about me is we're all year round go. So we're going to lift on Friday after the winter workout. Then we're going to take, basically 9 days off, and then they come back. The spring ball weight training cycle is no different than the off season. It's the same thing. We're going to crank all through spring ball. And it's going to be a little bit of an adjustment for them because those first couple of days of going to practice, they're going to be a little sore. They're going to be weight training sore. And that's not typical. However, once August comes around with this kind of system, you get really good improvement in strength and power. So that's going to be a big thing for them, and I think that'll really help us a lot. We're going to go the same way all year long. I mean, wait till you see the in-season program. I mean, that's kind of where you get that November success, is by training hard in season, and the kids have bought into it greatly.
Is there anybody who's stuck out to you so far as just kind of a leader in the weight room since you've come in? What have you seen in the last 2 months?
We have great leadership. These guys are, it's funny, and I kind of like it. The first week, no music. You got to kind of earn the music. Now, obviously, you say they must have earned it because we're all better to, clean our ears out. But, they had to earn that. But, by and large, these guys are typically just roll the sleeves up, work, don't say much. And that's one thing that Coach Franklin, and I'm working on, strongly, is to get them to be more vocal. But they work so stinking hard that, you don't read the motivation. They're very motivated. So that being said, I think that Matt Zanolato's done a great job. Obviously Christian, is always there, not only leading by example, but everybody really respects him. A.J. Johnson, Donovan Smith, 2 big boys, have done a great job. I can go around and around and around. I mean, I think for the most part, Jordan Lucas is, I think, really stepping up big time as a really good vocal leader. So there's been a lot of guys, and that's an area I think we'll continue to improve on. Because we're going to work them hard, really hard, but we want them to enjoy doing it. And I think that a lot of that is the camaraderie and the vocality that you're going to really get, from that kind of leadership.
Does anything change between the spring and summer workout in terms of once you get out of spring ball and then you get into the summer? Does anything change?
Just the running. Just the running takes on a whole new dimension. And one thing you got to understand, we are not a conditioning team. We do very little conditioning. The only conditioning I ever do is just enough to make sure they pass the conditioning test. So I prepare them to pass that. That's it. Everything else is up-tempo speed, up-tempo agility, hill work, sandpit work, doing things that are going to make them more athletic while getting them in shape at the same time by doing up-tempo. So the biggest difference between spring and the summer is going to be we're going to run like that 4 times a week. And they'll be outside. These guys think it's hot up here, So I can hardly wait because, to me, I might be wearing a coat out here getting used to down south, where it's like 10 degrees hotter. But, I think I'm really looking forward to having a great summer, being outside, getting acclimated, getting ready for camp. I think it'll be awesome.
So what do you do with the testing results today? What is kind of the future application of what you get from this next?
Obviously, this one's kind of a baseline because this is the first one we've really gotten. And we do a lot of things with them. I mean, my test result book's about 60 pages long. So we analyze them in a lot of different ways. We do it by position, we do it by team, we do it by event. So we do a lot of different things. One thing we do that's really cool, we do a thing called a T-score. And it's taken us a long time to implement it. I've never really seen anybody do that in strength and conditioning. I don't want to tell any secrets. But basically assigns values for every testing we do. 40-yard dash, bench, they all get values from 1 to 100. And 75 and above score is what you're looking for. 90 to 100 is a big-time NFL draft pick. So you get graded on that. And that's really the best grade we have for total preparation. There's 10 events that go into that score, and then you average them. So if you can average 75, you're doing pretty good. At Vanderbilt, for example, my first year I did it, we had 6 guys over 75. Second year, we had 19. So to me, it showed a marked improvement in preparation as the kids got older and better. Here, with the talent we have here, I have very high expectations of what that T-score will be. And being able to put your movement in with your strength and power, all being graded all the same, I think gives you a real good, accurate measure of exactly what kind of guys you have, in your program physically.
Coach Franklin talked about morning workouts being the most miserable times of these guys' life in terms of working through adversity and all that. Do you believe in that too, the importance of that sacrifice?
Absolutely.
Oh, why is that
absolutely.
so important?
It's funny because obviously you want to be in great shape, and the better shape you're in, the better you're going to do in these winter workouts. But the thing that I preach is that anybody can perform at a high level when they're fresh. Anybody. And, the first and the third quarters, it's kind of an even playing field. That second and fourth quarter is just a little different dynamic. You got a little bit more, lactic acid down there. You got a little more fatigue, not as much energy. And that's when you kind of draw from within. And that's where it goes from physiological to almost mental. And we're going to do everything we can off field to prepare them for that feeling so they can still perform at a very high level even though they feel that way. And I think that the summer does the same thing. I mean, the summers are basically, these guys don't know it yet, but the summers are basically 4 winter workouts a week. I mean, we crank it pretty good. So basically that's kind of what we're trying to get out of them here. And they've been really good. they've done a great job. They continue to work hard. They're learning how to push when they're tired, and I think that's a big gauge of that. And you know, the previous institution last year, it'd be really interesting. I got to get the stats, but you should see the second and fourth quarter point differentials at our teams the last couple of years. You know, compared to what they were before, it's amazing. So as they get tired, we keep pushing.
What will the summer schedule be like? How many days a week will you guys lift? How long? Like,
well, we lift 3 times a week. We run 4, and Wednesday's going to be a football specific day that they'll, you know, Christian and Mike Hall and those guys will run that. You know, Eugene Lewis and all the older guys. So you know, we're going to actually run 4 times. So it'll be a good situation for us.
I'm curious, all you coaches kind of seem to refer to Vanderbilt as the previous institution. I mean, why is that?
It's kind of a respect to Penn State thing. You know, I mean, you know, I bleed blue right now. It's, you know, and it's kind of difficult. You give your heart and soul to a place for 3 years, and you don't want to. I mean, I talked to the guys about it one time. That's it. No more reference to that. You know, it's time to move on and go with the blue and white. And it's just, you know, I'm all in here. It's time to move on. One thing about, I got the greatest job in America. I got 2 twin sons that are 26 years old that I love dearly, and they're not at all jealous of the fact that I really have 94 others that I love almost as much. And I think it's a relationship-based job. These guys know I love them to death. The guys at the previous did too. So, but now it's time to focus everything on them, so I don't want to really dwell too much in the past. It's all about the present and the future with Penn State. Does that make sense?
Sorry. You mentioned that off-the-field role where you're the coach that can contact these guys, they can contact you almost whenever. Have you found yourself being able to settle into that role with these guys?
Oh, yeah. They've been great. I mean, they know we're all in this together. I mean, to be honest, guy, I call this we're in the basement. You know, it's not the basement. You got the upper level and you got the lower level. And we're on the lower level. You got the locker room, you got the players' lounge, you got the training room. I mean, I think Tim Breen plays a big role in that kind of thing. You got academic support. It's a different thing down here. Not better or worse. It's just different. So when they're down in the basement, sometimes they can let their hair down a little bit and then come in. Tons of guys are coming there. They've been real good, and they know that we've been through a lot already. We're going to be through a lot more for the rest of their career here. And I think that they feel real strongly that they have a good, strong relationship with all of us. It's not just me, it's our entire strength staff. It is very important because we're with them a lot more. I mean, for every 1 minute the football coach is a position goes with them, I'm with them 3 minutes, 4 minutes. I mean, it's an all-year deal. So I think it's not telling them I'm recruiting them. If you don't like me, don't come here because you're going to have a miserable experience. They spend that much time with us.
On the day the coaches were introduced, you said you had to learn all the names of every single player in a couple of days. Were you able to do that?
9 days. I was a little upset. It was like 6 guys. You know, we had 96 guys on the team at that time, so it was kind of tough. It was kind of tough, but you know, I just kept repeating them, kept studying every night, and you know, it just helps your coach better know somebody's name. I mean, everybody knew who I was. If at least I knew who they were. You know.
How important is it for the kids that once, you know, the incoming guys, once they sign in February, they get the weight program? How important is it to get those guys acclimated right away to kind of prepare them for the summer?
Oh, that's real important. And on a couple different levels. I mean, number one, I mean, you guys know kind of our depth situation and our scholarship number. So we got to get these guys ready to go. And my philosophy all along has always been, no matter what your depth situation is get them ready as fast as possible. The days of training for 3 years and then coming out and playing are over. I mean, you got to get them ready to play early. So we start right away, send them the program. The day their letter of intent was signed, that day we sent them a program. We call them at least once every 2 weeks. A member of my staff, we kind of rotate calling everybody, check, see how they're doing, questions, motivate them, kind of get to know them a little bit better. And then, you know, when they come in here, I think they're coming in July 2nd, we'll hit the ground running for 4 weeks. I do not do that. I don't do that broomstick, you know, let's go light, make sure type of thing. I throw them right in the mix. Right in the mix. I mean, I put a freshman with 3 old guys, and he got to go. He got to swim. You know, no vest, no life vest, no nothing. You throw them right with the big guys. They got to swim. They got to run. They got to do everything right away. They're told that before they come in here, so they better do their work when they're at home before they get here. And they're great. I mean, I think our 20 incoming kids are going to be a real great addition to our program.
A couple more. You mentioned that when you talk to recruits, that they don't like you not to come here. What kind of role do you play you know, when recruits come to campus? What kind of involvement do you have, and what kind of tone do you try and set?
What I try to do is I try to like tell them what it's going to be like. I don't really recruit them. I want them to get to know me, because they're going to talk to the players, so they're going to find out what my deal is right away. You know, I hope the players are saying good things, you know. But they're going to kind of get that deal. But I like to feel I'm more educational, you know, and not just about strength and conditioning. I mean, I'm you know, the liaison for academic support. I mean, that's a huge part of what I do, is making sure that football and strength and conditioning, all area of football, is in cohesiveness, so that we really do have true student athletes here, and I think we do a great job of that. So there's that part of the equation, you know, making sure they're taking care of their academic part. So a lot of it is nurturing, a lot of it is teaching, a lot of it is learning, a lot of it is giving facts, and a lot of it is just getting them to relax and feel comfortable so they can come to me.
Coach Fitz, as I'm sure you saw in your time with him, and also I've heard about his time here, he became known as kind of like a crazed coach who would come out and rile them up, not wearing any clothes when it was freezing out. I don't get the sense you're going to play that type of role with him. Would you contrast it?
There's only one Craig Fitzgerald, you know, and God bless him. I mean, he's a special guy. His passion, his energy, you know, I know him better than just anybody, one of his best friends. He's a good person with capital G. And, you know, there's nobody can do it. There's only one of him. And God made him special for us. I will tell you this, though, is, you know, back in the day, you know, I mean, I used to do the, you know, I never did shorts, but we used to do the T-shirt thing no matter how cold it was at Maryland. And to be honest, I started getting cold, so I stopped doing it. So he was able to hang on, did a great job. I think a couple of times last year he got cold. I'm not so sure he's going to keep doing it, but, you know, I got to say, I can't be too cold. I can't focus on the game. He's a little tougher than I am.
Thanks, Dwight.
Is that it? Okay. Thank you all very much. I appreciate it.